Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I created this Harry Potter inspired cloak. This is a commission piece. My client had recently got into Harry Potter and he decided to take the tests for the European version of Harry Potter and the American version of the Harry Potter Hogwarts castle. And he wanted the cloak to represent both schools and both houses. For the Hogwarts version, he is a Slytherin, and for the American version, he is a Wampus. And their colors are, for the Wampus is orange and black, and the Slytherin, of course, is silver and green. The black portion, or the outer portion of the cloak, will be this black polyester twill that I got from Fabric Wholesale Direct. And I did purchase 5 yards of this fabric, and this cloak took all 5 yards. To make the body portion of the cloak, I just traced a shirt to get my neckline and my shoulder seam. And for the side seams, I just extended that shirt down at an angle, so that way I get the flowiness at the bottom. For the main body, I did cut 1 solid piece for the back and 2 pieces for the front. And since the cloaks are flowy and oversized anyways, I just used the back piece as a pattern to make my front 2 pieces. I just cut the neckline a little lower. And here's the 3 pieces for the main body of the cloak for the outer portion. To make the sleeves, I just folded my fabric in half and I used one of the arm holes from the cloak to trace my curve. Then I made it wider where the wrist will be. For the hood, it's just a simple elongated hood, basically just the shape of a triangle. For the lining, he wanted half the green Slytherin side and the other half the orange side. For the back portion of the cloak, I did make a seam down the middle, so one side will be green and the other side will be orange for the lining. However, the sleeves were a different story. He wanted them from the elbow down to the wrist to be striped with the house colors. So one side will have the green and silver, the other side will be the orange and black. He wanted the sleeves this way, so that way, since they were basically bell sleeves, that when you looked inside, you saw the house colors and made it a little bit more interesting. I don't normally get too technical with my measurements on stuff like this, but I did cut about 3-inch strips, about 18 inches long. And I realize I didn't mention this earlier, but the lining material is all made out of polycotton. And this will be the striped side for the wampus. And the Slytherin side. And then the top portion of the sleeve is just going to be the solid color. To make the stripes, I just alternated the colors between green and silver, and then the other sleeve between orange and black. Once those strips of fabric were sewn together, I gave it a good press. I do serge all of my edges since all this fabric frays. And then I attach the corresponding upper part of the sleeve. With that, the sleeves are done, and I just set those aside. And I go ahead and sew up the back seam of the lining. And then everything else is straightforward. I attach the front panels at the shoulders with the corresponding colors. With the shoulder seams done, now I can go ahead and attach the sleeves. And I match the middle of the sleeve to the shoulder seam. And I make sure green goes with green and orange goes with orange. With the sleeves attached, I go ahead and match up where the armpit seam is, and then I go ahead and sew the underarm seam all the way down to the side seam, all the way down to the hem. I do put an inside pocket into the lining, and I do this now. However, this is the first time I've ever done it, so I will actually leave a link in the description box to somebody who could actually show you how to do it much better. But I just left the footage in to show that I actually did it. With the main body of the lining done, it's time to work on the hood. Where the hood is going to join the neckline, I do measure that out and make sure I do not sew that portion of the hood, but everything else will be sewn together. And with that sewn together, it is time to connect the hood to the main body of the lining. And I just attached that at the neckline, making sure that my seams line up so that way the green is with the green and the orange is with the orange. For the outside body of the cloak, I do everything I did exactly the same as the lining, except for it's all one solid color, so I don't have to make the stripes, and the back piece is actually one solid piece. With both pieces of the cloak done, I can go ahead and attach the lining to the main body. And I will sew this all along the front seams, the hood. I do not sew the hem though, because that's how I'm going to flip it. With that sewn together, I go ahead and flip it right sides out. I will top stitch this later to make sure the lining stays in place. But it is now time to go ahead and attach the emblems or the appliques. I purchased these off of Etsy. I will leave a link to the two shops down below. One of them, they had it in stock, and it's the iron-on Slytherin applique. And the other one I had to have custom made for the wampus. And even though the Slytherin one is an iron-on, I still hand-stitched both of those appliques on. For the hem, I just turned the lining layer and the black layer in on itself about 3/4 of an inch. Put those together, and then I did top stitch those closed. And when I top stitch the lining down, I do use the corresponding thread in my top spool and a black thread in my bobbin. For the sleeves, I folded in on itself like I did with the hem and top stitched them closed. For the closure, I went ahead and purchased these fabric button kit, and I used 3 buttons to close this up. I do use the same material I used for the outer cloak for the buttons. And I just used my button presser foot on my sewing machine to create those buttonholes. And with that, the cloak is done. It did become a very, very heavy garment. I did do a tacking stitch at the hood where it meets the shoulders and at the top of the shoulder where it meets the sleeves. And my client plans on wearing this at the Renaissance Fair here in November, which it's already passed. And my mother can crochet, and she made a matching scarf to go with it. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Bye!